What's going on, everybody? It's Paul from Paul's Tech Cave here, and today we're going to talk about the best MX combo for work, school, or home use. If you're on a PC or Mac and you want something minimalistic looking, yet still has all the features of a regular keyboard and mouse, then I got something here for you. The MX keys and the MX Master 3 wireless mouse. But not only that, but if you're an iPad user and an Android user, this is also a really good combo for you as well. So now, without further ado, let's begin with the unboxing. Let's start off with the Logitech MX keys first. So unboxing this, you receive a unifying receiver, which you don't need to use if you're using Bluetooth, or the Unify system that Logitech uses, a USB Type-C charging cable, which is great because that way I don't have to worry about carrying more than one cable around, and documentation that I never read, of course. Now let's move on to the MX Master 3. In this box, you also receive a unifying receiver, which of course you don't need to use if you're using Bluetooth, and a USB Type-C charging cable, which is great because that way I don't have to carry more than one cable for this pair. Alright, so let's move on to battery life. Let's start with the MX keys. It's got a 10-day battery life with the backlight on and 5 months with no backlight on. Me personally, I actually use this with the backlight set on 1 just because I like to conserve the battery for a longer time. So far, I've only had to charge this keyboard once since I bought it. The nice thing about this is that it charges with USB Type-C, so I can use any cable that I have here at home just to charge the keyboard itself. I don't have to go scramble for a micro USB or even a proprietary USB cable just for it. It does have an on and off button, so that way you can conserve more battery, which I personally don't really turn it off all the time. I normally just let it idle, but you can turn it off if you want to. Also, if your keyboard is running at 10% or lower, there is a red indicator light on the top right that will blink to show you that you have low battery. Now let's move on over to the MX mouse battery life. The MX Master 3 gets 70 days from a full charge. After 1 minute of USB Type-C charging, it gets up to 3 hours, which honestly is pretty impressive. Since I bought this back in summer 2020, I've only had to charge it about 2 times, which I use every single day on my work PC and alternate to my iPad as well. The MX Master 3 also has a battery indicator light for when you're reaching 10% or below on the left side, right next to the horizontal wheel scroll. Alright, now that we talked about how long they're going to last you, let's talk about connectivity. Both the MX keyboard and mouse have up to 3 Bluetooth connections that you connect to it. It can either be an iPad, Android phone, PC, Mac, or a Linux computer. Even though it has 3 options that you can connect to, if you use the USB receiver, it is going to take up 1 slot, so you can't just connect 3 Bluetooth devices and a USB receiver. It's got to be 1 USB receiver and then 2 Bluetooth devices. Which, I mean, not that many things don't come with Bluetooth anymore, but hey, you can actually use the keyboard and mouse on 1 USB receiver connected to your computer. As an example, if you connect your keyboard to your computer first using the USB, you can then go ahead and download Logitech options from the Logitech website, set up the keyboard, go to the Logitech Unify option, connect your mouse off the same USB receiver. I do like the fact that I don't have to use 2 USB receivers on the PC, since I use laptops mainly for my home computer and work computer. So currently, the 3 options that I have connected to the keyboard and mouse are my work PC, my iPad, and my Samsung Note 9. And the one thing I like about this is once when you switch from one device to another, it takes about 2 seconds or less for it to actually connect to that device. But we'll talk more about this feature later. So now let's talk comfortability. On the MX keyboard, each key has a dip in them that feels good when your fingers push down on it. Comparing to my gaming keyboard that I have, these keys are a lot more comfortable just because of that little dip that they have on each key. I don't lose my placement when I'm typing, and it still feels pretty comfortable every time I hit a key. Now, I don't type like a normal person, my hands are all over the place on the keyboard, but yet I don't really miss keys like that, just because of how the dips are on the keyboard. The one plus I like about this keyboard is the number pad. Most of the keyboards that I buy don't have a number pad because I feel like they're so big. Normally I go for a 10 keyless keyboard just because I like the compact comfortability of it. But for this keyboard, it doesn't bother me at all. That extra space on the right side doesn't get in the way of anything because I don't really game on it. It's mainly just for work or when I'm writing my scripts. Now the only downside to the MX keys is the fact that you cannot adjust the height. It is preset to a certain level, which you can add some things on the back so that way you can stand it up higher, but to me, I found it at a pretty good height, being that I don't use a wrist rest and I just lay my wrist on the table. Let's move on to the MX Master 3 now. My hands sit comfortably on the MX Master 3, which I like a lot. Although my pinky fallovers a little on the table on the right side, my thumb sits nice and comfortable on that little curved edge that they offer on the left side. Now that we got that out the way, let's move on to the features now. This is the main reason why I bought this keyboard and mouse combo. The fact that you can connect 3 devices on this keyboard and mouse is pretty sweet. I do like switching from my work PC to my iPad because when I get an idea and I want to write it down and I want to put it on my iPad, all I have to do is just hit the number 2 on the keyboard and it switches right over to the iPad. Once when I'm done writing down what I want to, hit the number 1 and it goes straight back to my work PC. Now, I've tried this on a few other keyboards before that did offer that, but I noticed that the Bluetooth connection always broke after some time. But with this, I never had a problem once with the Bluetooth disconnecting at all. The only downside is that for the mouse to be able to switch over, you have to lift it up and hit the little button to go from 1, 2 to 3. Not a bad thing, just takes a little bit longer to switch from one device to another. So now for the MX keyboard, you can actually customize all the FN keys in their Logitech option software to what you want it to be. You can also hit FN and escape to lock the F keys, which is pretty great. The one good thing about this keyboard is that you're able to use all the shortcuts from a PC on it and from a Mac or iOS. So in this demonstration here, I can do a copy and paste on my PC, switch over to my iPad, and do a copy and paste there. Now I know that they offer the option to be able to copy stuff from one PC to another, but since I don't have another PC connected to it, I don't really use that option. Another thing I like about this is when I connected it to my Note 9, it actually brought up a guide that showed me some shortcuts on how to use it on an Android phone, which I thought was pretty sweet. The MX Keys also offers a proximity sensor when you put your hands near it. So once when you're not using the keyboard and it stays idle for a few seconds, the lights turn off. As soon as you hover your hand over the keyboard, the lights will turn on to show that it's ready to start typing. Of course, you can type without the lights on without a problem. I just think it's pretty nice the fact that they added that on the keyboard. Another thing is, you can actually start using this for gaming on an iPad or an Android phone. Now, moving over to the MX mouse, you can actually customize the buttons on the MX mouse in the Logitech option software as well. It does give you a lot of options that you can choose from, which I personally like a lot. The one other thing that I liked about this mouse was the side scroller. In Excel spreadsheets or just big websites that I have to move left and right in, I'm able to scroll left and right just using that one scroller. It's a weird feature that I thought when it was first implemented wasn't gonna work or it wasn't gonna matter, but it actually does. And since I do work in Excel spreadsheets sometimes, it is a pretty sweet feature. Now let's talk about the vertical scroller that they offer. You're able to press the button on top of the scroller to be able to switch it from a free spin to a ratcheting type scroller. I normally like to leave it on free spin and let it roll all the way through when I'm bored. Probably not the best idea, but it seems to be made pretty well, so I think it's gonna last me for a while, even if I do that all the time. All right, so one thing I didn't talk about yet was the pricing. Price is a little bit expensive at $100 a piece, meaning you would have to get both for $200, not including taxes or any store warranties that you might buy. I know that sounds kind of expensive, but trust me, for this combo, you won't be disappointed. The fact that you can switch from one device to another is pretty great, especially if you have work from home and a personal PC next to your work from home PC, that's really good. Now, if you're in school and you have an iPad and a school PC and you want to switch from one another, this is a really good option. And if you're looking for a keyboard and mouse combo just for comfortability, this is a really good option for you too. I can't stress enough how good this keyboard and mouse combo is. Ever since I bought it, I take it with me almost everywhere. I used to have the MX Master 2, which I retired for the MX Master 3, and for the MX keys, my previous keyboard was a gaming keyboard, which I didn't really like after a while because trying to type on cherry reds, they didn't feel so comfortable for me. So switching over to these, although this is a mechanical, this was a really good option that I went to. Now, even though this cost $200 in total for both of them, it's definitely something I recommend buying. Either if you're working from home, going to school, or just somebody that wants a comfortable keyboard and mouse option to use at home, this is really good. And if you have multiple devices like me, the fact that you can switch from one device to another is a huge plus. Not many keyboard and mouse combos will do that. If you guys decide to buy this, I'll leave a link to my Amazon description down below, so that way you can go ahead and buy it from there. It'll help the channel out and I'll really appreciate it, and you'll be able to get a really good combo out of that. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe if you breathe. Also, leave a comment down below if you already use this setup and tell me how you like it. Until next time, I'm Paul from Paul's Tech Cave. Peace.